Okay, so in this webinar, we actually want to talk about AI for project managers, more specifically, project managers who are using Microsoft Teams, Microsoft 365, and the technology stack to manage projects within your organization. This is where I would say the rubber meets the road, so to speak, because this is a real world scenario of how you can use AI in the workplace. And what I'm going to show you, this is a wireframe of an application that me and other senior engineers who like to tinker with AI and work with Power Platform and to produce and prove that AI can actually be used in the workplace. I think there's a lot of fanfare around ChatGPT and what ChatGPT can do by the world. ChatGPT took the world by storm. What ChatGPT can do as far as how smart it is, the cool images it can create, the text to audio, the text to video, and some of the new features and capabilities that are brewing in the background. But I don't think anyone's really bridging the gap between this AI technology, real business use cases of how we work and execute today in business, and how you can leverage the AI smarts for business. And that's what this workshop or this webinar is going to talk through. So if you look at this screenshot here, this is an application that we're building. This will be built in the Power Platform. This would actually be a Power App. It will interact with your Microsoft team. It will also interact with SharePoint, and will also leverage Power Automate for reminders, notifications, workflow, and some back-end processing. So as a Power App, you will see here that you got, you can select your different projects here in the top right. And this would just narrow this dashboard down for that particular project. This is actually just metrics for the health of this project. So you can see here how many tasks have been completed, how many tasks are past due, the number of available hours left for the project, the number of high priority tasks, if there are any blockers that were reported by the team. And this is the AI piece. This is going to give you a project insight. So what happened here, these are 8 alerts that the AI has been analyzing on your particular project. And when you hit this alerts, it will have a pop-up and it will just spill out all the items, these 8 items that it has as risk or concerns or things that you didn't consider that are happening within your project. Here you have the percentages. You can see this would go up or down. And what it's doing is comparing completed tasks based on the previous period. Now, the previous period can be configured to either be the previous day, the previous sprint, the previous week, whatever the case may be, whatever the time range makes sense for this particular project. And you will notice here, there's a settings option at the lower left-hand corner, and that would just allow you as a project manager to configure this based on the insights that you want to capture. Here at the bottom, there's a list of team members. Who's your project manager, who's the architect on the team, the business analyst, the database administrator, all their contact information, the number of hours they have left, and the remaining tasks that they have left that's been assigned to them. So again, this is where you can really start creating these dashboards. So far, the insights is where the AI piece really comes into play. Now, we're not recreating or redefining your project and how you work. If you click on this Teams icon, that actually takes you to the Teams channel of where you're already using Microsoft Planner, you have your buckets and everything like that. Like all of this remains the same. So we're not replacing. What we're doing is sitting insights and AI and this dashboard functionality on top of what you're already using. Now, if we keep going through these sections here, you would notice that I would go into the project section, and this would kind of give me the details of some of the key highlights for a particular project. So in this case, this is going to be the SharePoint 2016 migration project. And here I have all the details. I have, again, the tasks that are pending. I can add a task. If I click here, it pops up a modal window and I can manipulate that task. Again, those tasks are just going to be what you have here in your Microsoft Planner. If you set it to complete, on the background, it's going to move this task from the in progress to complete. If you're in Microsoft Teams and something that's not complete because there was an issue or maybe there was a step missed, if you slide this over to ready for review or slide this over to in progress, you come here, hit refresh, and that data will update exactly. Again, this is just another reflection or another window of what you're already doing in Microsoft Teams. This will actually be tied to an issues list. This is one of those scenarios that most clients, what they're doing with projects, as they're managing projects in Teams, they're actually creating these templates of when a project is created. So if we go here to like this projects tab here as an example. So if I go here and create a new project and I give it a name, I give it the status, I identify who the project manager is, I identify who the sponsor is, I put the approved hours in there, I upload the charter for the document, I upload any other related project level documentation. And as soon as I hit submit, it will go through a workflow. A program manager would then review it, and once they authorize and hit approve, this will actually spin up a Microsoft team for that particular project. And in there, what clients are doing, they're creating templates of what a team for projects look like. A team designated for managing projects, exactly does that look like? Now, some clients are creating channels for an overall program. So the program is represented by the team and the project itself is represented as a channel within that program. I see that structure a lot, especially when you're dealing with clients. So if you're like a client service type organization, you may have a team that represent the client, and then the channel is the respective projects for that particular client. How you slice and dice this is really like best of breed of what's for you. I've seen clients do this, have a hybrid, right? They have a program and then they have channels to represent the project. And they also have projects that are created at the team level themselves. And then these could be different milestones, or they just go with the general channel. So how you slice and dice it really doesn't matter. It's up to the organization, and you have that flexibility. But the key is that when you create this project here in the project post dashboard, it would generate and execute that template that will create the Microsoft team. It will create the planner board with all the buckets that your standard planners have. It will create a SharePoint list for tracking your issues. It will create the folder structure that you agree to. And I've seen this folder structure merge from a technical file, a project folder, a UI UX folder, maybe a DBA folder, whatever the case may be. So there's a defined structure, folder structure that is created once that project is executed. And this all falls into alignment with that. So then once this project is created, it creates that glue. And really there's a Power Automate that works in the background that keeps these things synced up and keeps these things reflected between this dashboard and that Microsoft team. Okay. So again, here's another insight. So this insight button, this is the AI that will ride with you across the different screens within this dashboard. So if you click on this insight and you're under projects, it's going to give you health insights for this particular project. It may even highlight things like David may, like the owner of this task, like David may be in trouble because, we only have 3 story points for here, and based on the velocity of story points, this should equate to about 4 hours. and we're currently at hour number 6. David's at risk of not completing this on time or within the story point. So you would get those types of insights, and you can schedule these insights to run every 4 hours, every 8 hours, or maybe overnight, to where you get fresh insights overnight. So this is the type of AI capabilities that you would see starting to be incorporated within these projects, within your project management. So let's take a step back and let's talk about how AI is evolving over time, right? So here I have, if you've seen some of my other videos, you may see this S curve that's very familiar. And within this S curve, you have really 5 main structures, right? Or milestones, or gates, if you will. So with these 5 gates, these are called the different levels of AI. Now, different organizations are going to be at different levels. Okay, so you can have individuals who are getting started at their AI journey right here at level 1. And basically what this means at level 1 is that you're familiar with ChatGPT and you use ChatGPT on the regular. You're using ChatGPT to help you analyze things, come up with different strategies for different concepts, maybe to revise messaging, either that be a blog post, LinkedIn post, or email message, or whatever the case may be. This is where, you're just getting your feet wet. You're using AI on a consistent basis, on a regular basis, and you're really starting to break that barrier on, what we find when we talk about barriers is that most people have to go through a mindset shift to take what they're doing on the day-to-day and then also incorporate AI, which forces them to, one, start to leverage AI to do some of the intelligent pieces of their task, or to help them brainstorm as a companion to get certain tasks done, or just as a companion to get another perspective on what they're trying to achieve, right? And that can mean many things to many people in many different scenarios. But the shift is using a machine or using artificial intelligence to help you on your day-to-day. And it does. It takes a lot of habits to be broken, and it takes a lot of discipline to take a step back to reevaluate, or to really open that up and start using AI in that way. Now, this is what we consider level 1, because these people have kind of broke the barrier to some extent and use it in a consistent basis. Most of the country is here. We're not even on the spectrum. We're still doing our day-to-day. We're still operating like this is 2020, and we're not here in 2024 where AI is part of our DNA and AI is part of our day-to-day and getting things done. So these people here is what have your CEO up at night and losing sleep. The reason being is that your CEO knows that other organizations are trying to get their people here to a level 2, and majority of their organization is not even on the spectrum. So this is where the game will start to change. From the level 1, this is where you have a handful of people in the organization who are using AI, ChatGPT mostly, on a consistent basis. And now there is a bridge, or there's a framework, there's a strategy in the organization to, one, identify who these people are and hopefully have them rise up above the fold, because these will be the evangelists to get the other associates, right, who are potentially at the negative, not even on the spectrum, are getting close to just exploring how to use AI. They're going to be the bridge on how they can use it within the organization in a safe way. Now, when we talk about using it in the organization in a safe way at this level 2, this is where most organizations are using Microsoft Copilot, because Copilot would be your chat GPT, but it has the security, it has the data regulation, it has, and it falls within the boundaries of your organization, to where you're using the model that's built for your organization, stays within the security posture of your organization, and you can use business data against that. You can use it against your Microsoft Word documents, Excel documents, your email and Outlook, so on and so forth. So Microsoft built that security posture. It works, is ingrained with majority of their Office applications. It will soon be ingrained in almost every application they have on the Microsoft 365 platform. And that would just be the new way of working. Now, even though you can go and buy these licenses, these Copilot licenses, and have it incorporated within your organization and have it available to all associates within the organization, this bridge is critical, because though you have the tooling and though you enable the smarts as an administrator or as a CTO or as an architect, if the people don't know how to use it, then you can still have the capability waiting for them, but their mindset and their mentality is still at the level 1. Even worse, their mindset and mentality is still thinking that this thing is not real, it's a fad, and they can just ignore it. It's way, they're not technical, or it doesn't make sense to them. That's the risk. Okay, so let's just imagine that organizations, and these are the ones who are going to win, organizations who have their employees at a level 2 are going to be head over heels than organizations that have majority of the employees at this level. The reason being is that as of August of 2024, AI is almost like nitrogen in the car. AI is over the companies that have majority of the employees at this level. This is where not only getting your employees to level 2 as the CEO, the number of employees that you get to the level 2 is going to be what really changes, will be the game changer for your organization. So imagine if your employee count is 500 associates and you only get 5 or 6 people here. Yes, you're doing much better than these organizations there, but I don't think it's enough for you to dominate your segment of your industry. Complete domination is when you're hitting a 30% plus threshold of employees who are at a level 2, meaning using Microsoft Copilot on a consistent basis. There's ways that they can ingrain and change and enhance their day-to-day, and they're leveraging Copilot for majority of what they're doing. And not only, it is not a blind thing. And that's why this level 1 is important, because the level 1, these people understand what the AI is, what it's not, what it's capable of doing and what it's capable of not doing, how it hallucinates, the gates and monitoring that needs to be, the validation that needs to be had. So all those skills that are learned here are then applied here, but in a business way. Most of this is for self-gain when you're at the level 1. Level 2 is where AI is used in a collaborative environment, to where teams of people are using AI and they're pitching and catching with each other and actually getting enhancements done for their particular workload or line of work. Let's talk about a level 3. Level 3 is what I showed you in that dashboard in the wireframe. Level 3 is where organizations can really do a complete 180 of how they're operating today and how they will start operating tomorrow. This is such a complete 180. This is almost like an auto manufacturer traditionally creating gas-powered cars who all of a sudden start creating cars equivalent to Tesla, right? Now, this is more of like a hybrid. Like if you use that whole automobile analogy, this is more like hybrid, and this is just pure gas, right? This is full electric. Now, when we say full electric, understand that there's different ways of looking at this. If you understand Tesla and how they really changed the industry, they reimagined everything. They changed almost absolutely everything about the car. They kept the steering wheel. They kept the two pedals for acceleration and braking. They kept the whole concept of hitting the brake and slow the car down, hitting the acceleration. You can't call it a gas pedal. So you almost have to rename that pedal, right, as an accelerator, because it's not using gas. It's meant to accelerate the car. So they kept the steering wheel, they kept the seats, they kept the brake pedal, they kept the accelerating pedal. But then like the windshields, like they changed that. They put curves in windshields. They did things that here at the level 2 or even the level 1 was not even perceived as possible. They reimagined the front trunk, the hood, where the engine used to be. That's now storage for clothes and luggage and things like that, because there's no engine. The back end, they reimagined that because of the drivetrain and everything that runs down the middle of the car. They reclaimed that space because that's no longer needed in a electric powered car, so on and so forth. But what other manufacturers are doing that are not Tesla, but they have an EV or electric vehicle, full electric capability, they actually landed here. They're kind of like in between a level 2 and a level 3. And I say that because they didn't reimagine the chassis of the car. They just took the engine out and they put in the motors next to the wheels, and they removed most of the drivetrain and things along those lines, but they did not reimagine the chassis. So they still have a bunch of unused space that was needed when there was an engine, when there was a drivetrain, when there was a transmission in the car. Unlike Tesla, they never had that footprint, and they reimagined that to where out the gate they designed this to not have that footprint. So in essence, as a result of that, you get more human room inside of the car. Same outside footprint, but they optimize that space for comfort, for the humans, for so on and so forth. Whereas here, you can still have that big, bulky chassis or car and still feel like there's not enough human space because they did not reimagine it, even though they did put in the pieces needed to make it a full electric vehicle. So this is why you can be a 2.5 and not a 3, because the mindset for us who are business and service-oriented organizations that may or may not manufacture a product, the mindset is all we need to change here to take full advantage of our level 3. Now, of our level 3, we take humans who know how to use the AI, and now we have developers who are creating these AI-infused applications like what you see here. And this is where the game starts to change, right? This is where you start to create solutions that leverage AI to get insights. And we need to talk about the requirements and meeting those. Like all of this meeting section is you recording your meetings with your business user, understanding the requirements, talking through the requirements in that meeting, and then and that's a Microsoft team. And then after that meeting, grabbing the transcripts, running it through one of these note taker apps that's generated by your Power App developer that's creating AI solutions. And when you do that, so if I click on this, these are the meeting notes that are generated, right? So these are the type of meeting notes that gets generated from here. So you have an executive summary, you have a list of all the decisions are made, you get a list of all the takeaways, you get a list of all the assigned tasks. And now what your Power App developer can do is take these assigned tasks, create them in a way to where the project manager can review them. And if they click approve, guess what happens? A planner task automatically gets generated inside of your project site. So in connecting all these dots, like the Microsoft team, the Power App that's AI infused, all of that, your Power App developer already has that skill. Because you're on the Microsoft 365 ecosystem and you have these tools available to you and you have the developers that are skilled on how to use these tools, building this automation with the smarts of AI is where the game starts to change. Organizations and people like you and I who embrace this AI will take your organization, will take your department, will take your team to a whole new level. And as of the fourth quarter of 2024 that we're going into, and the beginning of 2025, where AI budgets will start to hit mainstream, companies are start to be intentional of doing AI projects, intentional of reimagining their business processes and evaluate. That's when you will see a lot of change. That's when you will see companies who were sleepers rise up and take over their respective industries. Big companies who embrace this first and get started, because the bigger you are, the more head start you need, because you have so much to change. Those are the ones who are going to take up additional market share, because they're going to be executed in a way that are light speed faster than their competitors. So that's what I wanted to do in this webinar. If you have any questions, let me know. But until then, I'll see you on the next one. Take care.